this year. Paula Zito, who could not join us today, works with Deanna Lesh. Paula couldn't be here today because she started her assignment at Sarasota this morning. And she said they could not wait for her. She had to be there this morning. So she left the airport yesterday and drove to Sarasota, and she is now in orientation. Lucky for us, Brenda has a little bit more time, so she'll have an opportunity to talk with you. So Paula Zito and Brenda Duncan have both been with the organization for a very long time. They have worked in some of our best facilities. Brenda just celebrated her 10th anniversary. She started her first assignment on September the 25th, 2006 at Cedars-Sinai. So she's been there multiple times. She was telling us a little story earlier about some of the fun doctors she worked with there. But Brenda, I remember after the initial screening, the feedback that I got from the committee members who spoke with the potential participants. We went from 50, I think, down to about 10 finalists, and they were interviewed. And one of the screeners came to me and said, "You have to pick Brenda Duncan. You have to pick her." And I'm like, okay, I'm one vote of a couple, but tell me why. And she said the enthusiasm that this woman has for this and the desire she has to go on this mission, you have to pick her. After just a brief discussion about others, no one's enthusiasm rivaled the level that Brenda had. So I'd like to introduce Brenda Duncan and let her tell you a little bit today about her experience and her journey. Brenda?
Hi, I'm Brenda. First of all, I want to thank Cross Country for affording me this amazing journey in my life. I've actually worked in the operating room for 38 years. I started right out of high school as a surgical tech. And for about the last 10 years, I've thought about going on missions, but it's never been the right time, or I didn't have the money to go. And when I got the call from Athena, I was just like, light bulb, I'm going. So anyway, I like to tell people that nursing is not my career, it's my vocation. I still get up every day loving my job and wanting to go to work and take care of people. And when people ask me what the most important part of my job is, I say I'm 100% patient advocate. Because when that patient is asleep and they can't speak, I'm their voice. I make the doctors do the right thing. Sometimes they don't like that, but I don't care because it's not about them, it's about the patient. So I'll tell you a little bit about what we did in Guayaquil. We flew in on Saturday, and we got in fairly late at night, so we got up early on Sunday morning, and we had to go to the hospital, and the hospital gives us 3 storage rooms, or they call them bodegas. So our main bodega literally is probably about 3/4 the size of this room, and if you can imagine carts and supplies stacked literally from floor to ceiling, and what's not in carts are in big black and yellow totes. So the first day the doctors had their clinic and they started seeing patients, and I cannot even tell you how many patients they saw that day, but they and the anesthesia people did their screening. We, the grunts, set up the groundwork. So we got everything stocked, we got the rooms cleaned, and then on Monday morning at 7 o'clock, we hit floor running. We averaged anywhere from, most days we did 4 cases, we did 2 in each room, but a lot of those were 2 cases on one patient. They have a lot of what they call hip dysplasia, and so if their hips are chronically dislocated, the children can't walk, and then for the rest of their life, they're a burden on somebody, and society just ignores them. So what we do is we fix them, and some of them rode 3 hours in a bus to get there for their surgery. And after their surgeries, they'll be put in a spica cast, and I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's a cast that goes from just below the chest. It'll go one leg all the way down to the foot, and the other leg it goes down to the knee, and then they have a bar that goes across. So they can't walk, they can't stand, they lay. But their families are so appreciative because that's their one chance to become a productive member of society. And what they have to work with down there, their families are very poor, and we were told by the junta, which is the commission that oversees the hospital and stuff, that it's considered like a private hospital. And even though there is a lot of their care that is funded by different agencies and stuff, the families are still responsible for a certain amount of the money. And so at every door to the hospital, there is a guard that wears a bulletproof vest and has a gun on his side. And if you don't have the paperwork showing that you're supposed to be there, you don't get in. And it's the same way as you go from department to department. They can't get anybody into surgery unless the guard opens the door. If they don't pay their bill, the government comes in, seizes everything they have, and sells it to pay their bill. And then they're left on the streets. But it was very rewarding for us just to know that we were going to make a difference in somebody's life. And Jeffrey has his saying, but my saying is, be the change you want to see. So I thank you guys very much.
Okay, so now we're going to do a show a slideshow, and Brenda, if you want to talk about it as we go through. Some of the photos I received from Project Perfect World that were sent in, so Brenda may have not even seen them before, so I'll comment on those. Maria, if you can share. So we took this at the airport in Miami last Saturday before leaving. On the left is Paula Zito, our other nurse. It's okay.
It is? Okay, sorry.
Chris. So I just wanted to show you, those are the teddy bears that we sent. We sent over 100 of those teddy bears down to the hospital, and we sent scrubs and lab coats to Brenda and Paula as well, representing cross-country healthcare for this important mission. You could see all the teddy bears. That's Daniel DiMarzio. We had set up and packed. You could see the hats kind of on the right-hand side. We had about 100 hats, and then all the teddy bears we were packing up for the trip. Or the hats. And the stickers. So it was important that we sent a bunch of rollers of stickers because, you know, a lot of these children might need to get an injection or an IV, so just something to give them some comfort. And I know that Brenda, you had given, I saw some pictures with kids getting stickers. And this was us at a restaurant just prior to bring Brenda and Paula to the airport. This was sent to us from Project Perfect World. This is the Children's Hospital. And people waiting. Brenda, if you want to.
Okay, so this was the first day when we were unloading our bodega, our main bodega. The door to it is on the right, but you can see all these totes that we've got lined all the way down the hallway. And so what we're doing is they're all labeled, but we have to check in each carton to make sure that that's what's truly in there, and then organize it as to importance of where it needs to be. If it needs to be in the far bodega, if it's something that we use on a daily basis, it needs to be the one that's inside the OR doors. But this just kind of gives you a little perspective of what we unloaded the first day. That's when it was already unloaded. So you can see the boxes at the back. That's how high that entire room was stacked when we got there. And this is doing surgery. We had two surgeons. I think that's Dr. Schmitz on the left and Dr. Fenari on the right. And then Dr. Schultz is, well, you see Dr. Fenari's in the middle and Dr. Schultz is on the right. And they're actually doing that's a little girl they did a bilateral hip repair on. And this is little Maria. She came into the orthotics lab. When she came through the door, she was crying so hard because she didn't want to be there. She just wanted to go home. She had been waiting all day. Her mother brought her because she was supposed to have physical therapy first, but the physical therapist wasn't there. So then they decided they needed to get her braces refit because she was a myelomeningocele baby, and I don't know if y'all know what that means, but it means that when she was born with her spinal cord outside her body, and so that automatically means that she's gonna be a paraplegic for the rest of her life. So we got the bears going, and we started laughing and playing with her and talking to her, and by the time that Jason was done with her orthotics, she was laughing with us. And then this is just another picture of surgery. In the back, that white thing that you see just above the patient, that's the C-arm. That's the x-ray that we use. They have one x-ray for all of their rooms, so it just kept going in and out. And that's Jason. He's one of the 2 orthotics people that Project Perfect World sent this year. And you can see her smile. Her smile kind of says it all. And that was the first day we were there. That was Jason. He's kind of like our charge nurse. He's been going for the last 4 years, and so he organizes the OR team. That is the OR table that we used for all of the hips, because you could get the x-ray underneath it, but that bed is so ancient and it does not go up and down. You cannot move it, so a lot of times the doctors were standing on step stools so they could actually get up high enough to do the surgeries. And this is in our central supply. At the end of the day, after we did all of our cases, we still had to clean and reprocess our instruments. So as you can imagine, when it's 11:30 at night and you know you have to be back at 7 o'clock in the morning, you get kind of silly. So we've got Jose and Paula and Leo. And again, that's just surgery. Oh, and that's one of my new friends I made. That's Joni Marino, and she's from Long Island, and she's been going for like the last 4 years. She's a great scrub nurse. And there you are. You can see it says bodega. I think that was one morning we had to change our clothes and get dressed in the bodega. So we would have to, okay, girls in, lock the door, everybody change their clothes, and then the guys could come in. So we just had to get a little silly every now and then. This is me scrubbed in. I took so many pictures and I was posting them on my Facebook, and my mom finally posted back and she goes, "I don't see you in any of the pictures. Are you just the photographer?" And I said, "Well, it's my Facebook post, so yeah, I'll be the photographer in all of those." So this is one of the patients after surgery, and he had surgery on his arm. He had a big contracture from a previous injury, so they even had to do 10